that time of year, everyone, and I think many can relate when I say it's time to marathon Christmas movies. So this year, I'm gonna give you my top 10 Christmas movies. A Christmas Story. This classic shows the excitement of Christmas through the mind of a child and can remind the whole family of what Christmas can really bring us. Although it does take place in the 50s and times have really changed, I'd say this is still a good movie to watch for Christmas. Arthur Christmas. This movie has a unique setting for how Santa has his presents delivered, and how each incarnation prefers to use their own methods. There's the current Santa, who's nearing retirement, his eldest son, who wants to use technology to increase efficiency, the previous Santa, who likes to do things the old traditional way, and finally there's Arthur, who just wants to get the job done, and he'll do whatever it takes. Overall, Arthur Christmas teaches a great lesson on how it doesn't matter whether you do things the old way or the new way, as long as you put your heart into it. The Rankin Bass Specials. From Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer all the way to Jack Frost, these movies fit together in a festive cinematic universe. Now, while not all of their Christmas specials are canon, the ones that do fit in the timeline I highly recommend, like Frosty the Snowman, The Year Without a Santa Claus, Frosty's Winter Wonderland, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. These are classics that no one should miss. Elf. A fun Christmas comedy about a man named Buddy who was raised by Santa's elves and takes some time getting used to the city when he searches to meet his real father. And God, are these moments hilarious.
Oh, wonderful. Yes! That is marvelous how that... Who the heck are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Santa Claus.
No, you're not. Looks like a Christmas tree.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Aside from Will Ferrell's excellent performance, this is a fun movie to watch for the whole family. Gremlins. A fun Christmas horror movie with a great balance of slapstick and menacing destruction. It all starts with a Mogwai named Gizmo, who was received as an early Christmas present. A Mogwai is a cute and fun creature, but it comes at a cost. They mustn't touch water, or they'd multiply, and must never be fed after midnight, or they'd turn into gremlins. In the sequel, gremlins experiment on themselves, adding variety to their traits and abilities. One of them even adapts to the sunlight. As the perfect monster to spread Yuletide mischief, it would only make sense if the gremlins started working for Krampus. Home Alone 1 and 2. Also showing Christmas through the eyes of a child, this time he's left by himself, and sets creative yet brutal traps for the wet bandits.
Heads up!
And there were many other sequels, but none of them will recapture the charm of the first two movies, which show that there's no place like home for the holidays. Klaus. This Netflix original cartoon is about a postman named Jesper, who starts off lazy but has to learn his lesson that in order to earn something in life you gotta work. Before he can go home, he has to send at least 6,000 letters. But the place where he's sent to mail the letters doesn't have the best community. The people living there are less social and more on the aggressive side. And by aggressive, I mean sadistic and maniacal. In the process of trying to find someone to send letters, he meets the retired toy maker Klaus. Taking advantage of this, he has the children write letters to him asking for toys. When the kids do good deeds to earn toys, it really shows a great lesson that's told throughout the story.
A true, selfless act always sparks another.
And that really shows how Christmas is the season of giving. The Snowman. This is an immersive Christmas special that I'd recommend to anyone, even those who don't celebrate Christmas. Basically, a kid builds a snowman in the yard, and at night the snowman comes to life. The kid shows the snowman around his house, and the snowman shows the kid his world by taking him to a snowman party where he meets Santa Claus. And speaking of Santa Claus, more is added to the story with another special, Father Christmas. In Father Christmas, we see the world through the eyes of Santa Claus as he goes on vacation, as well as his day-to-day life opening letters he gets from all over the world. And to my surprise, The Snowman actually had a sequel, and it's really good. Overall, I recommend watching all 3 of these specials during the Yuletide season every year. Krampus. When it comes to Yuletide horrors, Gremlins are only the tip of the iceberg. In this movie, not only do you see the demon in charge, but also the Stregula, possessed toys, killer cookies, and more. It teaches a great lesson by showing what happens to a naughty household if coal in their stockings isn't enough. Who could think of a better example of a Christmas horror story that takes directly from Yule folklore? How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This had several adaptations, like the live-action movie with Jim Carrey, or the animated one by Illumination, but neither will beat the classic by Chuck Jones, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, an anthology of Christmas stories starring the main mascots of Disney. But if you want to see more than just Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, then might I also recommend Mickey's Magical Christmas. When the House of Mouse gets snowed in, they decide to pass the time by showing some Christmas cartoons, including some classics, like Mickey's Christmas Carol, a classic retelling of A Christmas Carol that no one should miss. 8 Crazy Nights. I used to think this Adam Sandler flick was a sick flop, but I'm glad I gave it another chance. It stars Davy Stone, who's always a jerk on Hanukkah, and it's up to Whitey Duvall to reform him while also hoping desperately to earn an all-star patch for his years of selfless work helping the community. Now the gross humor does hold it back.
You are right, that was gross.
Even the narrator agrees. But the touching story makes up for it, and it's got some nice musical numbers. Unlike... Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. To think the song wasn't corny enough. Did they really have to make an animated movie out of it? Why? In fact, after Grandma gets hit, it doesn't even have anything to do with the song. The Star Wars Holiday Special. I know that the Star Wars movies have been released around Christmas, but this is ridiculous. This movie has nothing to do with any of the other Star Wars movies. I think the only good thing that came out of it was the animated debut of Boba Fett. This movie was so bad, it was even retconned by George Lucas. It doesn't even deserve to be in Legends. The Polar Express. This is more than just a movie. It's an adventure. Based on a book of the same name, it follows the story pretty well. While in the original book, it seems as though the kid is being rewarded for believing in Santa. But the movie shows that the kid is having doubts about whether or not to believe in Santa. And as the story progresses, he learns it's a decision he might have to make on his own. And I just love how it portrays the North Pole. It would only make sense if they have to make so many toys. Polar Express takes the excitement for Christmas to a whole new level. Seeing Santa Claus is one thing, but the journey becomes so much more. Anyway, I find Polar Express to be my #1 best movie to watch for the Yuletide season. Now I can go on about the Polar Express and even another way to get to the North Pole, but that's a video for another day. So happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year.